Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Ever17, the Out of Infinity. And last time, what did happen? Learn more about the Curie virus and... Oh yeah, that whole scene with Coco and the joke. Yeah, so let's just keep moving, shall we? Having finished her long talk on the Curie virus, Scooby brought this up. Yeah, that's right. She was talking about how she can see heat vision too. So, on the second day, when you stood in front of the power generation room and knew it was too hot, that was because of your infrared vision. How about that? Infrared vision. Interesting. She tilted her head like she was surprised. Well, it's an unbelievable story. Viruses, DNA, bodies that won't die. It's crazy. I can't believe it. But I don't doubt it. If you say so, it must be true. So I guess I have to believe it. Since I said that, my body was being pulled. It wasn't a brutally strong force, but I couldn't resist. It was a natural flowing movement. On the white gondola, Scooby's body was covering mine. I could feel her breath. I could feel her pulse. I could feel her heat. A fragrant smell wafted from her neck. The smell of musk. A sweet smell. She smiled coldly and gazed at me. You think it's irresponsible? Yeah, a little bit. None. I have absolutely no basis. Raising an eyebrow, she put her hand on my neck. She gave me a look that turned my spine to ice. But her hands were trembling. Her coldness was contrived. Calm down, Sugumi. I spoke slowly, breathing deliberately. First of all, do you really need a reason to trust people? If so, then you don't have to trust me, doubt me all you want. But I believe you, even if no one else does, I do. I accept the truth. But I can. I want to understand you. Even if it's hard for me to believe, if it's truth, if it's the truth, the scar on your right leg, it's almost healed, right? I can't believe it, but that wound is almost healed. That's the reality, right? Show it to me again. I'll accept things as they are. She removed her hand. Her voice trembled faintly. She was speaking slowly, in control. You don't want me to look? If you show me, maybe you'll regret it. The fact that you're not answering, was that a stupid question? If you don't answer, I'm going to look whether you want me to or not. The room slid into darkness. Heard the sound of unfastening. In the darkness of the gondola, in the faint moonlight, the deep sea shined blue. Floating up into the darkness, it was a wound, once etched deeply, but now healed to almost nothing. I had to squint to see. I might not have known if I hadn't gently run my fingers over them. Scars. All over her body, minutely etched, countless scars. Skimmy's shoulders shook from her weeping. She cried silently. I grasped her shoulders. I pulled her to me fiercely. Tears wet the floor. Skimmy cried in my arms, on my breast, like a child. I wanted Sugumi, and she wanted me. She accepted all of me, and I accepted all of her. We overlapped until we became one. And a lot of dots. My head rested neatly on Sugumi's legs. She was sitting on my heels. Oh, she was sitting on her heels. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I felt the lovely softness of her flesh on the back of my head. The gondola had circled the floor many times and was now moving again through the darkness. What's that? I looked above to see Sugumi holding something in her hand. She was clicking what looked like a pen. I think I heard that same sound in front of the generator room. She smiled quietly and muttered, "My nose is itching." Why?
これがあると何かと便利なの。私みたいな特殊能力の持ち主にはね。
You're basically doing with your body the same thing an infrared night scope camera does, right? If you flash an infrared ray, it makes it easier to see in the dark. It says normal people can't see the infrared rays, it just looks dark. But if you have infrared vision, you can see as clearly as you can at high noon. Sugumi nodded.
そうよ。どんな暗闇でも大丈夫なの。
Sugumi giggled as she covered up her bare chest. When she laughed, it jiggled me too. Oh. Okay. Right about the time that it stopped.
ねえ、たけし、ちょっと起きて。
I sat up as ordered.
いい？今から3つ数えるから、その間、目つぶったらダメよ。3、2、1。
There was a sound. What did you just do? I blinked.
焼き付けたの。あなたをね、焼き付けたのよ。
Burned?
あなたの姿をしっかりと焼き付けたの。ここと。
She pointed at her chest.
それから、ここに、ね。
Couldn't see because of the shadow of her hand. She was holding something. Something besides the laser. In the darkness, I heard the sound of a thin chain. I didn't know what it was. What do you mean by here? Tell me.
内緒。
All she would give me was a mischievous smile. Huh. The hologram pendant. I thought back to the image in Sarah's hologram pendant. That means the image in the pendant was that of a different Takshi Kurinari. Okay, well I was thinking maybe they had different faces, and I was thinking that this guy looked like Takshi. Sound like Takshi? And Tsugumi has infrared vision like Sarah and me, which means both Sarah and my parents were. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
どうしたの？大丈夫ですか、少年さん。顔色が悪いようですけど。
I shook my head and shivered as I stepped slowly backwards. My back bumped against the wall. It can't be. No, no, no. I let out a cry that was almost a scream. They're insinuating what I'm thinking they're insinuating. I'd be a little frightened too. Yeah. Swinging around, I opened the door and ran out of the control room. I wanted to get as far away as I could. I wanted to find a place where no one could find me. I pounded up the emergency stairs. I ran forward in a dark haze. I ran as if I could escape the fear that threatened to overwhelm me. Further and further away, but in this confided space doesn't make any sense at all. It's confined space. But in this confined space, there was nowhere I could run away to. Eventually, I reached the end of the corridor. It ended up in front of the jellyfish gondola. There was no way past the closed flood doors. I stood in front of a decorated arch. The gondola had to be somewhere beyond the gates, which were veiled in darkness. In the gondola, Tsugumi and the real Takashi. It's impossible. I tried to purge the thought from my mind. But the suspicion mercilessly attacked my brain until I could no longer think straight. The battle between denial and acceptance. I writhed in pain, sinking further into a trench of despair. In my mind, there was only one possibility. I was almost convinced of the certainty of it. On the other hand, I hated the possibility so much that I wanted with all my heart to reject it. Put my hand on my chest, breathed in deeply, and I tried to calm my thoughts. It was true that Tsugumi had infrared vision. Believing the kid, it's the next day that they might possibly die. He needs to collect his chore money a little bit early. Chore money. Good grief! I had to write a word for that. Right before I said it, I lost it. That is horrible. What is that word? The word. The word that I can't think of is the word I'm trying to say. And if the incident I witnessed in the jellyfish gondola really did happen, the Takashi and Tsugumi who had existed in the other world would be Sarah and my parents. No, it can't be. I was once again overwhelmed by feelings of denial and despair. Sarah and I were 16. Tsugumi had given birth to us, and it would have been 16 years ago. Huh? Wait, are they saying that? Yeah, I'm thinking they're saying that something happened. Yeah, something happened there in that little bit that they cut, so that's interesting timing. Suddenly felt as if I had been hit by lightning. Lighting? Yes, a lamp came on and hit him. I suddenly felt as if I had been hit by lightning. My head was filled with a blinding light. Maybe it did happen the way I accidentally said it. Suddenly, man, I cannot talk today. Good grief. Suddenly kicking off the floor, I broke into a run. It's 2017 now, so 16 years ago would have been 2001. So this is what's confusing me about this story. It's still not explained why time keeps repeating itself, but they don't know it's repeating, but it is somehow, and people who, unless they're all, you see, this is the part that still is confusing me. Unless the first incident really did happen. Unless the first incident really happened in 2001. Or 2000. Yeah. No. I don't know. The world I had seen was 2000. Wait a minute. What if this year wasn't 2017? Well, then that's actually a thing to think about. It wouldn't have to be 2017 that was repeating. I mean, it wouldn't have to be year 2000. It could be. It could actually be the year 20 what? 34. Yeah. I went over to the security office and stumbled into the room. As I suspected, I found you there. You! What year is it? Breathing heavily, I approached you. I don't know whose voice that was. If that's actually a voice, tell me. This year. What year? Oh, wow. Huh? Just answer me. You blinked slowly, her mouth half open. Well, I glared at you and pressed her for an answer. A little overwhelmed by my enthusiasm, you seemed a bit disconcerted. You know, you see that happen a lot in movies. Time travel movies and that sort of thing. They just say, "What year is it?" And you're like, and you think that because you see it from their point of view that person isn't crazy. But if you really think about it, if somebody just came up to you and suddenly asked you what year it is, you would think they were insane, and you would probably try to get away with it. Not get away with them, but from them. Yeah, she's disconcerted.
西暦で言うと
Yes.
2034年だけど
Well, okay. That's interesting. Wait a second. We've seen things from 3 different periods of time, right? Or just 2? Yeah, maybe it was from 2000, 2017, and 2034. Maybe that's how it works. Because we saw... I don't know. It's 2017, so 2013 was 4 years ago. I said to you. You and I were alone in the security office. Actually, that would make sense. From Yu's point of view, too, wouldn't it? No, her dad was missing the whole time, though, wasn't it? 17. But wait, no, both times she said her dad was missing for 17 years. No. Oh, good grief. I need to just keep playing. I'm gonna kill my brain if I don't keep playing. You and I were alone in the security office. All of a sudden, you had asked me to come see her and had started talking about what had happened in 2013. No, I probably had seen it coming. Just before she had spoken to me, you had hinted indirectly that she had changed her mind and needed someone to confide in. Her expression was solemn, like a nun about to seek redemption. Yu's eyes were empty of emotion. And at the same time, her gaze showed an unconditional compassion. Impartial, demanding nothing, asking nothing. After a short while...
そう。今から4年前。これは私がまだ14歳だった頃の話。
You began quietly to tell me her story. Yubisei Harukana had a serious heart condition. She hadn't been bored with it. In 2013, when she was 14, she suddenly had fallen ill. One day you had suddenly collapsed. She was examined at the hospital and the doctor had told her, "This is very hard for me to tell you, so I want you to please listen calmly." Maybe the same doctor who programmed Sora. "Everyone, please stay calm as I tell you this stuff that I know you don't want to take calmly. You have a very serious heart condition. It's unclear whether you'll even make it to the end of high school." This meant that she only had 3 or 4 more years to live. A transplant was out of the question, and even with treatment, she would only suffer, and they couldn't guarantee her a cure. There was no way left for her to survive. She had received a death sentence, but medical treatment is advancing daily. In a few years, we may still find a cure, so don't give up. You have to fight this illness. Was the doctor's hollow consolation? Emptiness took over her mind. 2014, her fear of her approaching death was growing. One day, while she was at the hospital, she met a gentleman. Through the course of their meetings, she and the gentleman came to trust one another and became very close. It was a close relationship, like the bond between a parent and a child, between a father and a daughter. Yubisei Harukana had grown up without knowing a father's warmth. Perhaps she was seeking from him the love from the father she had never known. As for the gentleman, he had a daughter close to her age. When he found out about Yu's illness, he felt as much sympathy as he would have for his own daughter. They were close like a parent and a child, joined by a strong feeling like love. Having built up a trust, Yubisei Harukana one day confessed her fear, her despair, and agony to him. With a serious look on his face, the gentleman said, "Come to my lab." His name was Shigezo Morino. The name doesn't sound familiar. Dr. Morino was a world authority in genetic engineering. In November of that year, after making up her mind, Yubisei Harukana visited the doctor's lab. "Where's Yu's mother here?" "She's probably dead, like, in the, yeah, that's probably what happened. She died 2 years after the dad, that's right." There are 3 types of immortality. The first is immortality of the body. The second is immortality of the memory. The third is genetic immortality. How would you like to try the third kind? The doctor presented this extraordinary plan to her with the calmness of a scientist, his tone matter of fact. "Your heart problem was acquired after birth rather being something you were born with. So if you choose the third option, you don't have to worry about passing the condition on to your children. There's nothing for you to worry about." Ever since being told that she would die, she had been terrified at the approaching shadow of death. Not a night would go by that she didn't rail against her misfortune, all the while clawing at her chest in agony. She had given up on life, and was no more than an empty shell. But this day, she was suddenly able to see a glimmer of hope. The doctor's words convinced her, and her way of thinking gradually changed. If I only have a few more years to live, I at least want to leave something of myself behind in this world." Her tenacity for life defied imagination. She finally made the decision. She chose the third option. 1 month later, December 2014. Interesting. The third decision? Probably not related. Yubisei Harukana had the nucleus from one of her own cells implanted in her own ovaries, which began to grow in her womb. That's a little bit crazy. Of course, Dr. Moreno performed the surgery. She was pregnant with her new self. 9 months later, September 22nd, 2015, Ibise Harukana safely gave birth.
あなたは私の子供。あなたは私の妹。そしてあなたは私自身。
And Irene? She should have named her Irene. That would have been a really... Oh my gosh. That would have been the worst joke you could do with somebody. Wow. Yubise Harukana loved the new child with all of her heart and gave her a name. She called her Yubise Akikana, because as she's talked about, she hated her long name, so she gave it back to herself. That's right. Yubise Akikana was Yubise Harukana's daughter. And at the same time, they not only were mother and daughter, but also shared the same genetic design, just like twins. What a twist of fate. Did she do it out of the madness that comes from being so close to death? But still, look at the lively face of the newborn child. Look at how pure its smile is, how bright its new life shines. Could anyone watch something as simple as its earnest attempts to grab something and believe that the baby was a tragedy? Was it a sin to create a life? Was it a sin to want life? The baby smiled happily. Sometimes it cried, as if it were asking, is it a sin to be alive? Monday, May the 1st, 2017. That date sounds very familiar. Ibise Harukana, who is now a student at Hirameki Women's College, had started working part-time at LeMU during the holidays. She wanted to find a clue about her father, Yoichi, who had gone missing 17 years before. Okay, so... I was thinking that maybe she was talking about the dude there. Might have been like her father figure. Might have been the... Yeah, that wouldn't have made sense, so... She's actually looking for her real genetic dad, I guess you could say. Her mother, Yuki, kept telling her, your father fell into the ocean and drowned. But you didn't believe it. She held on to the hope that he was still alive somewhere. She had left her 1-year-old daughter, Yubise Akikana, with her mother, so she was not worried about it. Okay, I was wondering about that. How does her mother feel about that? I mean, I'm guessing that she would be almost as distraught as you herself from, so I'm sure she wouldn't feel, quite as, she wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, you're cloning yourself. So, yeah, I'm guessing she would be just as earnest in her attempts at trying to save you as you herself was. Yeah, maybe I said that right. Yubise Harukana's heart had almost reached its limit. She had given birth safely, but could no longer escape the fate which awaited her. There's only one thing left that she wanted to do. Before she died, she wanted to find out whether her father was still alive. A father who had disappeared when she was a year old. She had looked at his photo until it had... She had looked at his photo until it had become ragged and torn, but had no memories of his warmth or ever having been held by him. For that reason, she waved off all of the doctor's attempts to stop her and had come to LeMU. She wanted to find out about her father. What had happened 17 years ago? She wanted to reveal the truth. As her story ended, you reached for a file that was on the control panel. Yes, the control panel. It's very similar to the control panel. Okay, so seems like Takshi's the guy who all of them are confiding in. He's like, yeah, I believe you. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I think I'm gonna have to get on here later and do another one, so expect a video tomorrow. this is getting to the nitty gritty. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, this is definitely getting to the to the revelations, I guess you could say. I figured cloning had something to do with it. I really felt like that was right. The 2 time periods, though, that's something I was expecting, and I'm thinking there might be a 3rd time period somehow, interwoven. I don't know, maybe there's a U that's maybe there's a 3rd U that's the kid and the U's daughter. That'd be crazy. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna call it. Expect a video tomorrow. But on that note, as my nose is just itching me to death, it's like it's trying to claw out of my face and into existence as its own sentient self. I told you I was gonna do postmortem. One must die. That ain't happening. I played it this morning. It's a good game, but it's not a very easily let's playable game. I mean, it's more reading than this. And this is a visual novel. You don't have to read, you can just randomly do something. But then that would be not fun at all because, well, if you know what the game is, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is good. It's a good game. It's hard to say it's absolutely worth all the money because you can technically play it. If you never replay it, it's not worth it. But it is a good game though. And so check it out on Steam if you like. I'm not gonna let's play it. So the game that I've been thinking about doing, I've been thinking about for a while when I was going to do postmortem is Half-Life. I'm actually probably going to do the Half-Life series and the Portal series. So I'm probably going to play Half-Life in just a little bit and record it. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, check it out. Don't have the expectations of everybody liking everything, so if it doesn't interest you, don't worry about it. You know, I try to keep realistic expectations. So yeah, this is good crap right here, though. I'm probably going to. I feel like I'm almost there. I'm probably going to have to play through this after a while, and just finish it. Just do it. Just do it. Not affiliated with Nike. This Let's Play is not affiliated with Nike. That is their slogan, right? Just do it. So yeah, I'm thinking about calling it after this right here. Calling the series. I mean, what is this, episode 114? That's a freaking amount of episodes. I was not expecting this many when I started this. So I think I'm going to just call it. There's Let's Plays out there of this already. So I mean, and I think I'm bringing. I mean, there's not so many that I don't think I'm bringing a unique perspective. I mean, there's some games out there that probably Half-Life. I'm probably not adding anything to the thing there, but I have been wanting to play the first one because I did enjoy the second one pretty well a few years ago when I played it. So maybe I'll bring something new to that. But anyway, there's not very many of Never17 Let's Plays out there. There's actually, if you just look up if you look up Never17, the end of Infinity, right? There's less than 100 results that actually come up. That's crazy. I think it is. So that I feel like I can actually offer more of a unique perspective to. So that I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna play this 100%. Tell me if you really want to see the the 100%, and I'll consider doing it. But the Never 7, I feel like I can really, add something to YouTube rather than the same old. I guess I can say. I'm doing this, I enjoy it regardless, so, I'll do it, I do it anyway. But that one I can actually really add my perspective to. As weird as that might be. But anyway, I'm rambling, so I hope you folks enjoy this. And I will see you in the next one. However many next ones there will be, I don't know. But it's getting fewer and fewer with each one, so see you in the next one, folks.